The Galactic Council's medical bay hummed with the sterile efficiency of 1,000 worlds' combined technology. Olivia stood motionless in the scanning chamber, her arms slightly raised as blue light cascaded over her body in waves. The Vrex physician, a mantis-like creature with compound eyes that refracted the scanner's glow into rainbow patterns, watched the readout with growing confusion. "This cannot be correct," the physician chittered, his mandibles clicking nervously. "The genetic sequencer has analyzed specimens from 47,000 species across the known galaxy. It has never failed." Felix leaned against the observation window, a slight smirk playing at the corner of his mouth. He'd been through this exact process 3 days ago, and the result had caused a diplomatic incident that nearly escalated to a Code Orange security breach. Now it was Olivia's turn, and he was curious to see if the Council's scientists had learned anything in the interim. "What does it say?" Olivia asked, her voice calm despite standing nearly naked in front of a dozen alien scientists. The Vrex physician's antennae drooped. 99% unknown. The scanner recognizes only 1% of your genetic code as compatible with our universal database. He turned to face the observation gallery where representatives from a dozen species watched with varying degrees of alarm. "This female exhibits the same anomaly as the male specimen." Ambassador Thelnox, a gelatinous being contained within an environmental suit, pulsed an angry crimson. "Impossible. Every carbon-based life form in the galaxy shares fundamental genetic markers. The primordial code is universal. These humans must be using some kind of jamming technology." Felix pushed off from the window and activated the comm panel. "No jamming tech, Ambassador. That's just what we are. Preposterous." A avian delegate from the Crick sovereignty ruffled her iridescent feathers. "You claim your species evolved independently with genetic code that bears no relation to the galaxy's established evolutionary tree? Do you expect us to believe you are somehow separate from all known life?" Olivia stepped out of the scanning chamber, pulling on her uniform with practiced efficiency. "Believe what you want. But yes, Earth evolved in isolation for 4 billion years. Our genetic code isn't based on the same template as yours." The Vrex physician manipulated his holographic display, pulling up comparative charts. "The 1% we can identify includes basic cellular respiration, protein synthesis, and amino acid structures. But the rest," he gestured helplessly at the cascading data, "the rest is utterly alien. Your DNA has 4 nucleobases like most species, but the way they combine the regulatory sequences, the so-called junk DNA that makes up most of your genome, it follows patterns we've never encountered." "What does that mean for the treaty negotiations?" asked a reptilian delegate, his tail twitching with anxiety. Felix exchanged a glance with Olivia. They'd been briefed extensively before humanity's first contact with the Galactic Council. Earth's xenobiologists had predicted this exact scenario, but the diplomatic corps had hoped to ease into the revelation more gradually. "It means," Olivia said carefully, "that humans are biochemically incompatible with most of your species. We can't eat your food, you can't eat ours. Our diseases won't affect you and yours won't affect us. We're too different." "But that's not what worries you, is it?" Felix added, watching the delegates shift uncomfortably. "You're concerned because you can't predict us. Every species in your council shares enough genetic similarity that your xenopsychologists can model behavior, predict evolutionary pressures, understand instinctual responses. With us, you're flying blind." Thelnox's containment suit bubbled aggressively. "You're saying we cannot trust you because we cannot understand your fundamental nature?" "No," Olivia replied, her voice hardening. "We're saying you can't profile us based on genetic determinism like you do with every other species. You'll actually have to judge us by our actions and our words, not by what some computer model predicts based on our DNA." The avian delegate leaned forward. The human male made a statement when his results came back. He said, "That's the 1% you should worry about. Explain this threat." Felix smiled, but there was no warmth in it. It wasn't a threat. It was advice. He walked to the central display and highlighted the small portion of human DNA that matched the galactic database. "This 1%, the part you recognize, those are the basics. Energy production, cell division, the fundamental processes of life, universal stuff." "And the 99%? The Vrex physician asked. "The 99% is what makes us human," Olivia said softly. It's what allowed our ancestors to walk out of Africa and colonize every environment on our planet, from frozen tundras to scorching deserts. It's what drives us to climb mountains because they're there, to sail across oceans without knowing what's on the other side, to strap ourselves to controlled explosions and shoot ourselves into space. Felix nodded. You've built a civilization spanning thousands of worlds, and it's impressive, really. But you did it together, with similar biology, similar psychology, similar evolutionary pressures. You understand each other on a fundamental level. He paused. We evolved alone, on a death world where 99% of all species that ever existed went extinct, where predators that could kill us with a single bite were hunted to extinction by our ancestors armed with pointed sticks, where we looked at fire, the thing that every sane species runs from, and decided to tame it. The chamber fell silent except for the hum of life support systems. The Vrex physician's antennae quivered. You're saying that the unknown 99% is what made you survivors? Adaptable? Adaptable, creative, stubborn, curious, and too dumb to know when something is impossible, Olivia confirmed. That 1% you can read? That tells you we're alive. The 99% you can't read? That's what tells you we're human. And if you're smart, Ambassador, that's the part you'll pay attention to. Thelnox pulsed through several colors before settling on a thoughtful amber. Perhaps we have been approaching these negotiations from the wrong perspective. Felix grinned. Now you're learning.